Hello, my name is Alex, I'm a patchwork nerd, and this is the muffin I will be eating throughout this video. Because I'm hungry. I am so excited for today's topic because today actually comes as a request from one of my Patreon supporters. So I would like to dedicate this video to Alexander Black, whose name will be somewhere on the screen, maybe on the muffin. Maybe I can find a way to put it on the muffin. And for those of you who aren't familiar, my Patreon page is where you can make monthly donations to help support me making videos and writing and doing writer's patch and all the shenanigans I do. So if you would like to have a video dedicated to you and have a video that I am discussing your topic, please click the link down below and you will be transported to my Patreon page where you can join my court of bats, and it's all awesome like that. Muffin time. As for what we are going to be discussing today, we are going to take a look at world building. I know there is about 10 bazillion articles and videos all dealing with how to do world building. Today we are going to do a little bit of a spin on world building. We're not going to discuss how to actually build a world. We are going to go one step further. After you've created a world, we're going to take a look at those. So what do I do with this now? We are going to take a look at how to apply your world building to the story that you're actually writing. So let's go. World building is this wonderful rabbit hole that we as writers love to jump into because it gives us such a chance to flesh out the place we're going to be interacting with throughout our story. So once you have that developed and ready to go, take that a step further and decide how is that world going to impact the story, because you can have an amazing world created, but if you don't have characters and an actual story to propel that setting and to propel that world, then you're just going to be stuck with a world and nothing to do with it. Think of it as a video game where you don't actually have a character to play. So you have built an entire world from scratch and you want to show that world off. How do you successfully do that in a story without just turning a novel into a fictional textbook? There are several things that you want to keep in mind when you are applying world building to the actual story that you are writing. The first thing you want to look at is how you can use the world building that you have done to create the mood of your story, the tone of your story, and how it affects the emotions of both the characters and the readers. And we'll break each of those down one by one. The mood and tone of your story are going to be very essential to creating the overall genre of your story and help guide your readers to understanding the types of emotions they should be feeling and also give them a feel for what kind of story they are being dropped into. Think of it this way. If you are describing a bakery in your story and it is crowded full of hungry, excited people and children are giggling and the sunlight is streaming in through the big glass windows of the shop and it smells like fresh chocolate chip cookies and bread, that is going to cause your readers to feel certain emotions. It might make them feel very nostalgic for bakeries that they've been to in the past. It would make them feel warm and happy and invited into this story. Alternatively, your readers are going to feel very different if you describe the setting as a bright pink bedroom that is dripping with blood. That is going to cause some very different emotions, hopefully, from your readers. They might feel afraid, they might feel confused, they might feel unsettled, and you want to take that into consideration when you are using the world building in your story. You are going to put a different lens on the world that you have created, and you are going to put a different tone on that. So keep that in mind when you are actually dropping your characters into the worlds that you have created. Another thing to keep in mind is to use the locations in your story and the timing of events to help guide the way your readers are supposed to feel. Don't think of it as that you're tricking your readers into what emotions to feel in the story. Instead, think of that you are using this as a way to match the tone of your story to the events that are going on within the world that you have made. Another important thing about world building is how you show how your characters interact with the world around them. You don't want to fall into the common mistake of just using your characters as pieces on a game board. That causes all sorts of problems, because then it feels like your characters aren't making any choices on their own. Instead, you want your characters to be influenced by the setting and the world around them to help create the conflicts that they are going to be encountering throughout the story. So think of world building as your way of bringing the board game actually to life and giving your characters tangible things to influence them. Give them history of the world they're in, give them the lore, give them the government, the agricultural influences, give them the different pieces of the world and show us how that influences their day-to-day life, or how that influences the path they're on in this story. Is it going to create certain roadblocks for them? Is it going to create conflict for them? Use the world around them as a way to increase the story's conflict and to give your characters more things to overcome. Showing how your character interacts with the world around them is a great way to build your characters and to show, not tell, who they are as people. For example, if your character wanders into the poor district of the city where there are orphans on the side of the road begging for pocket change, and your character reacts by giving them all of the money in their coin purse, that is going to show us a very different side of your character, as opposed to if your character throws something at the orphans and tells them to get lost. We're going to get a strong sense of your character by how they interact with the environment around them. Try to invoke that every time you set your characters down into a certain place in your story. Let them be influenced by the world around them, and let them make decisions on how they react to the world that has been built up around them. I want to thank you guys so much for taking this look at world building with me today, and I again want to thank Alexander Black for requesting this wonderful topic. I had a lot of fun with it. If you have topics for what you would like me to discuss in the future and you would like to jump ahead to the front of the line, feel free to check out my Patreon page down below and all the other goodies that I have in there. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and if you have any questions, comments, and concerns, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, or you can tweet me at PatchworkNerd. Also remember, every Sunday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, I host Writer's Patch on Twitter, where we talk about writing and have a grand old time. Also, if you'd like to keep up to date with everything going on my channel, hit that happy little subscribe button and give this video a like. And remember, keep writing, keep laughing, and most importantly, keep encouraging each other. I'll see you next time. Toodles! It's muffin time. It's muffin time. Everybody get happy because it's muffin time.